everybody. Welcome to Rocket Dreamers, a series that was going fairly strong up until, I think, somewhere in the middle of last RLCS season. And now that we've picked up the next season, the 2022-23 season of RLCS, I thought now would be a good time to pick it up and go and have a conversation with as many of the SSA Rocket League pros as I can to kind of get a bit of their story, who they are, their journey, what they're all up to. And today I'm going to be chatting to Mr. D3funct, also known as Ruben Louise. Hello, D3funct. How are you?
I'm doing good, man. How are you?
Yeah, no, I'm pretty good. So this is about you and your story. So let's get the hot take, the hot dope on who and what you are. So let's start with, where do you find yourself in the world? Where do you live? Not your exact address, of course, but just the general area.
Yeah, so I live in Johannesburg in a town called Benoni.
Holy moly, east of the equation. Okay, well, that's fab. And did you grow up there?
No, I didn't. I was actually born in Witbank in Mpumalanga.
Even further east.
Even further east, yeah.
Oh, okay. And when did you move to this side of the world, to Benoni?
I was probably like 13, 14 years old. So I've been here for like a good 6-7 years almost.
Wow. So your early development years were formed in Witbank. My word.
Yes.
Jeez, and what's that like as a town to grow up in? I mean, Witbank, as much as I know of it, it's a town you pass on your way out to Nelspruit.
Yeah, no, it's completely horrible living there. It's not fun at all.
So, a good place to leave.
Yes, very good place to live. You don't want to stay there.
And then your full name is Ruben Louise, and that sounds a little bit exotic, that last name. What's the history of that name, or where does it come from?
It's actually just Portuguese, with my whole past family from my dad's side coming from mainly Madeira.
Oh, wow.
So the surname came from there. Yeah. It's actually a funny story. Our surname was actually Luis. And then we came to South Africa.
Luis.
Yes. And then when we
Luis, yes, okay.
Yeah. Then we came to South Africa, and then someone messed up somewhere. Now we live with Luiz.
Yeah, I know. It's one of those things that, when Home Affairs makes a mistake with your name, that's your name now. It's either
that's just now, yeah.
adopt that name rather than try and change it.
We just
okay. And so are you Portuguese?
I am, yes.
And do you speak Portuguese?
No, I do not.
So is your dad South African Portuguese, or did he come out from Madeira?
He's South African Portuguese.
Oh, and so how far back do you go to find the family member that came out to South Africa?
Actually, not too far back. I think it was my father's grandfather.
Father's grandfather, so that's a great grandfather, probably, something like that. if my maths is correct. Okay, brilliant.
Yeah,
all right, so of Portuguese heritage, now living in Benoni. Let's talk about and how old are you?
I'm 20 years old this year.
Okay, cool. You turned 20 or about to turn 20?
I've turned 20 in August.
Okay. Okay, cool. Because I was going to say there's not much year left. All right. Well, now let's start with the Rocket League journey. How did Rocket League happen for you? How did you get into the game? What's the general journey to how you find yourself to where you are now?
Oof, that's a long story. Okay, so I first found out about the game when it came out in 2015.
Okay.
I think it was grade 8 end year exams. My friend was like, "Hey, let's play Rocket League." So I went to his house. We played for like 5 minminutes.
Yeah.
The game, we couldn't understand it, so we just left it.
How do you not understand Rocket League?
When you first start off, it's complicated. It's complicated.
Okay.
So then I left the game. Then around 2018, I watched the YouTube videos of Markiplier and Jacksepticeye playing Rocket League. So I was like, oh, this looks fun. Why not get back to it? So I got a pirated version of Rocket League in the beginning of 2018.
Wow.
I played that until I could comfortably 1v4 the bots, all-star bots.
Okay.
And then I was like, hey, this game's fun. Let's go play some ranked whatever. So I bought the game at end 2018.
Okay.
And I played from there. and there's a whole long story of how I came to be here now.
Okay.
So I played the game. My friends ended up stopping playing when they hit Diamond 1.
Yeah.
I carried on playing.
And were you playing? I'm trying to, because I mean, we had servers then, but I don't know what the player population was like. Were you
Yes.
getting games locally, or were you
No,
already
not
in
at all.
EU?
I was playing EU since I started because I remember queuing one South African game. I did not find any games whatsoever.
Oh man,
So I was like, oh, screw it,
sucks.
I'm just staying in EU. So I stayed in EU all the way until beginning of fall split of first season last year.
Wow.
I played EU all the way then. And
And
yeah,
and,
so
and,
the
and what were you playing on? And when I say on, I mean, was it were you on fiber or ADSL or?
oh geez, I started off on some interesting ADSL internet, 1 megabyte per second.
Oh man.
It was
And
not
what
fun.
sort of ping were you getting?
I was getting around 220, 230 ping on
Okay.
EU back then.
Oh man.
And I stuck with that all the way until just before fall split again.
Okay.
Stuck with that ping all the way there.
All right,
It
cool.
was
So,
atrocious.
I mean, that's quite a jump from like, okay, I don't really understand this game. I don't want to play it to like, I'll stick it out
Yeah.
on the shittiest way possible on high ping, dodgy internet, and still and how high did you get from a rank point of view playing that way?
Well, I actually didn't focus on ranked. I focused on freestyling back in the day.
Oh,
But
really?
when I actually tried playing ranked,
Yeah.
I managed to get to 1600 when I actually started trying
In
on
EU.
200. Yeah, on EU on 220 ping.
Okay, well that's very impressive. My word,
Yeah.
that's quite something once you get to that level to play EU ping. All right, okay. So you're playing and then carry on with the story.
Okay, so there was a time period where I stopped playing the game. I think I was like Diamond 2, Diamond 3. I stopped playing the game for like 6 months or something. And then when I came back, the game was actually still boring. So then I got lucky that when I played a ranked game, a twos ranked game, some Italian guy was like, hey, you want to join our team? So I was
What?
like, sure. Yeah. So I joined this esports org called Colibri Esports. It's not around anymore, but
Okay. And when?
back
Sorry,
then,
when was that?
that was beginning 2019, I
Okay.
believe.
Okay.
Beginning 2019. So when I was like Diamond 3, almost Champ 1.
Okay.
So I played for them. They had like a Champ team, a GC team, and then a semi-pro team. So I just vibed with their Champ team. And the game was fun.
Okay.
You know, when you like in a team and people can motivate you to play the game. So the game got really fun for me again. So I was just chilling with these guys. And then 4 months later, the entire org disbanded. Org doesn't exist. All the players left.
As they
And I was
do,
like,
yeah.
okay, yeah. So then I just carried on playing. I was like, okay, maybe I can just carry on playing, see if I still find the game fun. And I didn't.
Oh wow.
So then I think I still managed to play towards like end 2019. But during that period, I was like watching Rocket League videos, whatever. And then I came across Miracles and Jaxi, and they were freestyling. And I was like, okay,
Oh,
cool, let me
wow.
try freestyle. So that time period between Colibri Sports disbanding to end 2019, I was just sitting in free play like 12 hours a day, just learning mechanics. And then I found the game boring again if I'm not part of like some team community.
Yes.
So around the beginning of 2020, I started looking for European communities I can be a part of. And so I went on Instagram, Twitter, all these places. And then I discovered Aiden sees things.
Oh
Who
wow,
like the-
really?
yeah,
Jeez.
yes.
Okay.
So beginning of 2020, he was forming his own org called Torque, TORQUE.
Oh, do you know what? I suddenly realized this now because when I met Aiden Sees Things, he kept going on about defunct, and now
Yeah.
sorry, now I'm kind of now I'm connecting a dot. Okay, cool.
Yes, yes. So he actually accepted me into his team as the sub, even though I was on 200 ping, which I was very happy about.
Yes.
So he kind of like took me in, and I was playing with him. They kind of motivated me to play the game again.
Okay.
And then in Talk, I then started my own team within Talk. It was called Talk Void. I played with my friend Jinx and some guy named Banana, who then left. So then as the org talk started getting more teams, Aiden then created his own community called Pudding Parade.
Okay.
And then I kind of fell away from playing with a competitive team. And then Aiden took me in his org as a freestyler. So I was a freestyler for the org.
Okay.
And that alone made me commit to playing the game, motivate me to carry on playing, motivate me to just learn more mechanics to become a very good freestyler.
Okay.
And then afterwards, sort of talk kind of died away, but Pudding Parade went on very strong. Lovely community. All those people in that community were very nice. They kind of lifted me up, like, hey, bro, carry on playing the game. You're really sick, you know?
Okay.
But then I kind of found it boring again when I wasn't part of a team.
Now this is
So then-
this is 2020ish, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
this
okay.
is throughout 2020.
Yeah.
So this all happened during 2020. And then I started looking for another team. And then I kind of looked around all the other orgs that were surrounding Agency's Things community. And I found an org called X3G. I joined them alongside Scrubster and Sabrokalot, two very good friends of mine. And about 3 months later, I kind of just left. And then I went back into freestyling. And I was kind of happy where I was freestyling. And I was
Okay.
playing with a lot of people from Agency's Things community.
Okay.
Joined a lot of freestyling communities and all of that. Started doing freestyling tournaments. I won a few, came second a few, blah, blah, blah. And then I started like thinking, okay, I'm actually getting sick of these EU players telling me I can't hit GC with
Okay.
200 ping. So there was this whole period like towards end 2020 where there was just a bunch of these EU players that were like going at me, telling me, bro, you cannot get GC on 200 ping. So I was like, okay, screw you, lad. So I'm just gonna go ahead and play ranked. And then with the help of a very good friend of mine named Kabui, in real life his name is Cody, love the lad. So he kind of like coached me
Okay.
a little bit, telling me, hey, you have very good mechanics. All you need is game sense. So he's like,
Okay.
you know, take these little pads, take the mid boost, cutting field, blah, blah, blah. And I played with him. So I managed to get GC with him the first time playing with him. Wasn't a carry, kind of
Yes.
just was. I held my own. And then I kind of then played on my own then. And I
Okay.
got GC2 instantly on a win streak, no losses.
That's amazing.
Went straight to 1575. I was like, hey, let's carry on playing. Why not? What's the worst that can happen? Then I got 1600 that same season.
Wow.
So, and then I went laughing at all these EU players' faces. Like, yeah, hey, look where I'm at, 1600, yeah? Where you at, yeah? It's like,
Yeah.
you're way below me. It's like, screw you, but I can do this. And then that's when I kind of got my drive to be a competitive player, but it was very little amount of drive to be a competitive player. So I was like, I started playing more ones, I started grinding more twos, trying to get my game sense up. And then throughout beginning of 2021 to middle 2021, I started like just grinding ones, grinding twos, seeing if I can't get up. And then I was like, you know what? I'm South African. Why not try some South African servers?
Okay.
So I tried getting GC on EU servers on ones, and it was very difficult with the
Yes.
ping. Because ones 200 ping is almost impossible to play.
It's a good place. It's a good place to go and cry a lot.
Yeah, it literally is. It literally is. I can't tell you the amount of times I raged and threw my fists everywhere. And so I was like, let's just try South African ones. And then the first player I came across, this was beginning 2021, was 5BS.
Oh wow.
So he was the very first South African player I came across,
That is
which was
unbelievable.
beginning
Yeah.
2021. And then from there, I then later on met Yopego in 1v1s.
Okay.
And he was like SSR, I was champ 3. He beat me 10-1, then 5-1 the next game.
Okay.
And then I raged, played more EU ones, I raged some more. And then I kind of left ones. And I think it was around August, September. I then played 1v1 game in SA and I came across Eliakim.
Okay.
And then Eliakim added me as a friend. I was like, sure, why not? He then invited me to his party. I was like, why not? Let's just see what this guy wants. He's like, hey, you want to join my team?
Wow.
And the reason why I never went into the South African scene before was because I knew it was dead. And I
Yes.
even told myself, I was like, I'm never going to be part of this SA community. I'm going to stay in EU.
Wow.
And then when Eli asked me to join his team, Rebellion at the time, it was him, 5BS, and Lucid.
Wow.
I was kind of like contemplating, like, do I do this or not? I told myself I wouldn't join SA community. And then I was like, what's the worst that can happen? Yeah. It's like, I don't know any of these players except 5BS.
Yes.
So I was like, screw it, let me just do it. And then about a month later, we heard RLCS comes to South Africa.
Unbelievable.
And that's when I'm like, what the hell is this happening, bro? Like, what's going on? Why is RLCS here in South Africa? And I was like, okay, I'll stick with the team, see where we go. And then played a bunch of ACGL tournaments with Eli. We won a few. It was really fun. Played Metal State. And then came RLCS. We then joined Lost Legion Esports under Lost Legion Giants. Lucid in 5 years ended up leaving. And we took in Rowan, who was part of their Lost Legion's main team, who was then became their second team. So then we went into full split with that team. And then after full split is when I decided to become a competitive player, switch from freestyling into competitive. And that's how I'm now playing competitive.
That's amazing. I think you're the first person I've seen that sort of taken that. I mean, you came into the SA scene very, very late, which is very unusual and quite remarkable. And certainly you've learned your craft in the game in the fire of EU. That's quite an incredible story to find yourself here now from there. Okay, so before we go further, maybe to take it back a little bit. So you're now 20, right? You said.
Yes.
Oh, that's right. You've just turned 20. And what is life like for you outside of Rocket League?
It's actually quite busy because I don't study, so I'm a self-taught 3D designer, 3D modeler, 3D animation, game designer. Sort of been self-teaching myself since I was like young.
Okay.
So, and now I do sort of work with that. Like I've worked from like early morning to late afternoon.
And are you a freelancer?
Yes, 100% freelancer.
Okay, and you're getting work that's keeping you gainfully employed.
Yeah, it helps. It helps.
Okay, brilliant. Okay, so now RLCS arrives. You've done Lost Legion, and now you're sort of pretty fully entrenched in the scene. What is the title of the series is Rocket Dreamers. So for you, what is the dream? How far do you want to go with Rocket League? How long do you see yourself being involved? Is there much of a plan?
It's been up and down, not gonna lie. So after the first full split of last year, I was like, yeah, I actually want to play competitive. I want to go far. I want to be one of the best players in the region. And that stuck with me well over towards the end of the season, even a bit further. And then I kind of learned so much that after the season ended, I started becoming unhappy. I was like, do I really want to carry on playing? Like, what I want to do?
Why were you unhappy? What was making you unhappy?
It was just, I think I was more unhappy with like how I was playing, my individual play style. Because like the big thing in this game is mentality.
Yes.
100%. That's throughout my entire first season of playing competitive, the biggest thing I realized was mentality was the biggest thing. If you have a shit mentality, nothing's going to happen. It's just going to go downhill. So mentality kind of struck me and I was like, I don't think I'll ever reach the top. I don't think I can, blah, blah, blah. And then I kind of lifted myself up for like 2 months and started trying to grind again throughout the off season. And then I was fortunate enough to have players around me to kind of keep me up. I had the likes of Yapego, I had S Falcon, even Sweaty Clarence, and then Shadow Hunter came in. Epidex was by my side a lot, Eliakim, even. They were all bringing me up. So I was like, okay. So now before the first season of Full Spell, I was like, I want to be the best again.
Okay.
So I grinded. And then I wanted to be like that for long term. I still have that now, but I was still unhappy with how I was playing with my play style. So I wanted to be a more solid player on the field, blah, blah, blah. And because my normal play style is just don't defend, just stay midfield and stay off field, do plays. Use your against your advantage, just do counterattacks, all that stuff. But I knew I wasn't going to improve as a player like that. I wanted to be an all-rounder player. So my short-term goal was to solidify my play style more. And my medium term is to try at least come top 2 once with the current team I have. My long term now is still try to be one of the best players in the region, which I'm working hard towards. And seeing Seeing myself how far I'll play the game, I thought I would have one season left, but now I'm kind of motivated to play more seasons.
Okay.
So I'm thinking maybe 2 or 3 more years, even 3 more seasons, I would say,
And
and then I'll see from there.
well, on the see from there type question, do
Yes.
you see yourself being involved? Is there a possibility, do you think, of you being involved in the game beyond competing? If I mean, we're all hoping the scene completely blows up and it becomes huge, and if it does, then there's opportunities in and around directly competing. Is that something you've thought about at all?
I actually have thought about that. I think my main towards what I'm going to go towards is freestyle. I'm going to go back to freestyling. That's what I want to do. I did think about coaching, but I don't think I'd be a good high-level coach. Maybe a low-level coach teaching basic stuff. So I don't think I'll be a coach. Maybe go into content creation is something I'm actually thinking about doing. Just start streaming, start posting things on YouTube, try build up the scene as much as I can, which is something I'm trying to work towards doing. Because you like your videos, you motivated me to think like this. It's like we need to get content out, man.
Yes.
You know, it's like our region needs to grow, get content out. Pros, get your content out.
Yeah.
So that's something I'm probably gonna do a lot when I start playing competitive.
Okay, and my little bit of advice is don't wait till you stop. Start building the audience now. Is all
Yes.
is all I'm going to say to you now.
I'm working towards it.
Okay, and then from your perspective, what does SSA need? What do we need? What are we missing?
Obviously, the main thing is an official broadcast from Psyonix, Epic Games. Like, give it to us, like, because Epic Games, Psyonix, like, if they give us an official broadcast, they're able to advertise it. They're able to show it around all the regions properly instead of us just having our own localized broadcast. So that would help a lot. And then for us to improve, for us to get even more exposures, obviously majors. I mean, it would have been nice to have them this season.
Of course.
Yeah, of course, as everyone has said.
Yes.
But we can be thankful to at least have prize pool increases, means they still care.
Yes.
So what I do think is what we mainly do are main broadcasts and one secondly majors.
I've been very pleased from an outsider's perspective, just someone sort of looking in who really wants to see the scene grow here and change. It has been said that just throwing money into an esport is not enough. There's you can't just have a big prize pool. That's not going to guarantee anything. But I do think we've had. I mean, the change has been phenomenal with our inclusion in RLCS, and it continues. Just looking at the first split and the 3 regionals, there's been such a growth in depth in the region, right?
100%.
And what were your thoughts coming out of? I mean, there were a couple of teams that I felt underperformed, and I think Apex was one of them. I thought you guys would do much better. So, what are your thoughts on the state of the game, the depth, the players in the region, and where we are now?
I mean, if I compare this full split to last season's full split, there's no comparison. We're far more better. Even our top team, Limitless, I still think they've improved a lot compared to our old Pirates team. Not just because the change from skill to die for, but just more solidity with the teams, more solidity with how to play as a team, not necessarily just individual skill. It's good to see because now we don't have an official second place, which I like to see. Like 2nd to 10th is quite close now, where before it was like 1st and 2nd, and then 3rd to 6th.
And everybody else can fight for 3 onwards.
Yes, everyone else could see if they can fight for 3rd. Yes, but now it's like a fight for 2nd.
Okay.
Which I love. And yes, you're right. A lot of teams are underperforming, but they're still better than what they were last season. Even though teams are underperforming now, like Apex, like I still think Red Crown can do a lot better. I think Reform can still do a lot better. All these teams can do a lot better. Pirates, all of them. But if you still compare them to last season, still way better. Way better, which I appreciate, which I love. So now I think Winter Split's going to be interesting. I think a lot of teams are going to pick up. It's going to be a lot closer, a lot more of a battle. Even that top 2, I think Limitless will still win. I think, but it will still be a bit closer. I think.
Okay.
So it's going to be interesting to see.
All right, cool. And now back to you. I'm assuming you're a controller player, right?
Yes, PS4.
PS4. And
Yes.
have you experimented with the PS5, or are you hanging in there with the 4?
I've held it. I've held it once or twice. Never played with it. I think I'm just going to stick to the PS4 for now.
Yeah. Well, listen, I now own 3 PS5 controllers, and each of them have an issue. Now I'm back to a PS4, so I understand.
That's fair.
And then D3funct. Let's talk about the name. Always interested in the in-game name and how they came to be. How did you come to be D3funct?
Well, actually, I think it was like 2009 when my aunt gave her Steam account to my brother.
Okay.
And then he took it over, and from then he named it D3funct.
Okay.
And he told me why he called it D3funct, but I cannot remember, unfortunately. So
this is an inheritance. You just
yes, this is inherited. Back then I was actually playing FIFA, and my name on FIFA through Origin was Paresto, which I got from when I was eating pasta, and I was like, what's a good way of converting pasta to a good name? And I was like, Paresto. So that was my name in FIFA, and then my brother never played competitive games.
Okay.
So when I came to playing Rocket League on Steam, I changed the name to Paresto.
Yeah.
And then he came at me saying, no, change it back to D3funct. Paresto's a very bad name. He was like, it's a very bad name. Okay. So I changed it back to D3funct, and I kind of just inherited from there. Just kind of stuck with it.
And now it's a thing.
Yeah, now it's a thing. It's my given name now.
And do you play anything else outside of Rocket League, casually or seriously, or?
I actually don't. No.
Okay.
Yeah, that's just Rocket League.
A one-game man. Good, fair enough.
One-game man. Yes.
I like it. All right, brilliant. Well, I think that gives us the story. I'm very glad we got to have this chat, and I certainly learned a lot more about you during the course of this, and I think others will as well. And well, I think that pretty much wraps it up here. Are there any questions I should have asked you?
Not that I can think of right now. No.
Okay, good.
I think a lot of it's been covered.
Excellent. I just want to make sure there wasn't something you wanted covered that hadn't been. All right, fine. Well, we're in now that long period of time between splits while the rest of the world's going to go watch a major. We have to have to do our own thing, but we do have December coming up, and then end of January, the winter split will get underway, and so we're stuck with you for at least 2 more seasons, maybe a third, and D3funct. I hope you attain the goals you're searching for over those next few seasons. But I'm certainly looking forward to seeing you out in the field and casting you in your journey.
Thank you very much.